What up, what up? It's your best friend Blake, and I'm kicking it here with the Up North Sportscast. This is my cousin C. Loke. We'll be breaking it down today. We got some NBA talk. We're talking Lakers and the playoffs. We got some NBA Super Bowl picks, some Darkhorse picks, talking a little Julio Jones, and just some random other stuff, sports related. So make sure to hit us up on socials. We're at TUN Sportscast on Twitch, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and the Up North Sportscast on YouTube. We got a special guest tonight, Mima. And he's out from North Dakota with your boys, C. Loke and Gage. How's it going, man?
Good. How about you guys?
I'm doing excellent. Chance?
I'm sick, but I'm vaccinated, so don't worry, it's not COVID.
Sick, but at least your Lakers played tonight. Played their hearts out. So
Sure, we'll go with that.
Absolutely. So, in fact, that's the first thing we are breaking down tonight. The question on the board: will the Lakers win the title? Chance, what says you?
I'm saying yeah. They didn't look very good today, but we can look at how last year in the playoffs when they lost their first game to the Blazers and pretty much completely ran through the West after that. They're playing the Suns. They played pretty good today, but they got three guys. This is their first time even seeing any playoff action, so they're a young team. I think once we get going, we're getting our guys just back healthy. We got year 2 of LeBron and AD. He needs to play better. Speaking of AD, today is probably one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. But I got confidence. AD's always bounced back, especially last year, so I think he's going to do the same. Some of the new guys on the team, I think, are going to be hungry to get that first chip. You got Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Wes Matthews. I think some of these guys are going to be hungry. You know, they're kind of champion chasing, but and then maybe also contract chasing. You go win a championship this year, you get your bigger contract next year. Because I want to say some of those guys are on 1-year deals. And then you got AD and LeBron chasing history. I think if LeBron can go out there and win one this year from the 7th seed, some people put him up in that class at MJ, but I think if he can win it from the 7th seed this year, I think some of the people that have been a little stubborn to put him up in that class, I think are going to finally start to open up those talks. Another reason why I think that they're going to be there is 9 of the last 10 years LeBron's been in the NBA Finals, which is a pretty crazy stat. The only year he hasn't. He wasn't in the playoffs because he was injured. That was his first year with the Lakers. But I think, after losing tonight, they're going to come back fired up. I think they're going to take care of the Suns pretty quick in either 5 or 6. Probably going 6 now since they lost tonight. Then I'm looking forward to the next round where they're either going to play the Blazers or the Nuggets. I think it's going to be the Blazers, and guess what? We beat them up last year too. Nuggets are down a guy. If the Nuggets do advance, you're still playing the Nuggets without Jamal Murray, and I don't think that's going to be enough. That could be another series that goes 5 or 6, and you look at some of these other playoffs. They're pretty well. I think those series are going to go pretty deep. If the Lakers can clean theirs up early, get a few extra rest days, and get some guys healthy. And I got them coming down to the West Finals, playing the Clippers, which coming as being a 7 seed, you're probably not going to get home court advantage at all in the playoff. But if we end up playing the Clippers, I'm thinking that's going to be, just a straight series of home court advantage for the Lakers as a 7 seed to go to the NBA Finals. And you ain't going to let the Clippers beat you, dude.
Ooh.
They lost last night. They didn't look too good, but I do anticipate for them to bounce back. But it's the playoffs. LeBron always seems to rest and play better when it matters the most. Yeah. They're the first, What's up?
He does have a knack for, flipping the switch when it needs to be turned on in the playoffs. And but I don't know. I don't know if he can continue to do that, especially when his supporting cast is kind of injury prone as well in Anthony Davis. Mima, what are you thinking on this one? You got the Lakers winning the title this year?
I don't think so. That game tonight was pretty bad, but obviously it's just game one. But I don't know. I think they'll clean up and come back and beat the Suns. But I just with the injuries and everything else that they've been dealing with, I just don't think that team's good enough to make it all the way.
Yeah, we're going to talk NBA playoffs a little bit coming up here, but they get past the Suns, they get the Nuggets or the Trailblazers. Could see them getting past that too, but it gets a little bit more interesting with the top half of that bracket, I think.
I think they kind of, if you can take care of the Suns right now, you got a pretty easy. You're pretty gifted in their, your path to the title with Blazers and Nuggets being round 2, and then I'm thinking most likely it's going to be the Clippers. Could be wrong. Maybe Utah does something wrong or proves me wrong, but they're losing to the Grizzlies right now currently. So
Clippers lost game 1 though, didn't they?
They did,
Yeah.
and pretty convincingly too, to be honest with you. But I kind of see them kind of bouncing back too, bouncing back real hard. But we'll see. I'd totally love to see the Clippers flop and be proved wrong on that.
We know you'd like to see that.
Another thing I'd like to point was the Lakers have the number 1 defense in the league, and they were still able to put up that number 1 defense while missing LeBron James, Anthony Davis, for quite some time. And so I think that's pretty impressive. And in the playoffs, defense really matters. It shows up. So I think that's going to carry on. And that was, part of the reason why they won the title last year.
And that's part of the reason why the Heat were there too that deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Both teams play great defense.
It's a different brand of basketball in the playoffs, and defense plays a huge role. It doesn't show up so much in the regular season, but like you said, the Heat threw down some phenomenal defense last year, specifically on Giannis Antetokounmpo. And it's a different ball game when you got a team that can clamp down on some of the key stars.
Definitely. So we got one thinking that the Lakers will take it, one thinking that they won't. I will let you know when we talk our next segment, yeah? It's going to be our NBA playoff predictions. Come on, show us some love. Anyway, we got our three cam pick'em going on with our NBA playoff predictions. We're going to go through the East. We're going to tell you who's going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, who's going to win them, who's going to be in the Western Conference Finals, who takes those, and then who takes the NBA Finals. We know a couple games went down yesterday, but we're going to check these out anyway. I think they're still pretty valid, especially because I made mine last night. So we're starting off with the East. Chance, what do you got for the matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I see I got the 76ers in there. They did seem to kind of struggle today. I almost thought they were going to lose there for a while, and could still see them losing this series. But I got them in there because I believe they're the number 1 seed, but they got a pretty easy path. I don't see a whole lot that's going to kind of get in their way to stop them. And then I got them playing the Bucks. I got no love for the Nets. I think there hasn't been that much talk going around the Bucks this year. They're kind of flown a little under the radar. I don't feel there's so much pressure on them. If they can get rid of the Nets in that second round, I feel like it's going to kind of be that monkey off their back. And then they're going to go up there and take the East to 7 games and finally get into the NBA Finals with Coach Budenholzer and Giannis and company.
All right. For my matchup, I got the Nets versus the 76ers. I think it's going to be a rough one for the Bucks again. I think they'll get past the Heat, hopefully. Well, that's looking a little iffy. And I got them going up against the Nets and losing. And I got the Sixers kind of just making their way down there and meeting up with the Nets there in the Eastern Conference Finals. Mima, what do you got for the matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I got the same as Chance. I got the Bucks versus the 76ers. I think the Bucks' toughest matchup is the Heat. Obviously, in the first round, the Heat beat them last year, but I think the Bucks will. I think they'll turn it around this year and they'll be able to beat them in that matchup. And then I don't think they'll have too much trouble with Brooklyn in that next matchup. And then I got them going against Philly. Philly, I don't really see any of those other teams on the other side of the bracket just being able to compete with them, to be honest. So I don't think those teams are close at all to competing for titles.
Definitely. You
I kind of feel like Philly's a year away. They're 1 year away from being a real contender.
Philly's a year away,
I kind of feel. I feel they're a young team.
and you had
Some
them
of those guys haven't been that deep.
beating the Bucks in how many games?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I ain't got Philly beating the Bucks.
I got
the
Philly beating the Bucks.
You and how
Okay.
many?
I'd say it's probably gonna be 6 or 7. We'll go 7 just to
That's
make it fun.
Philly in 7. And Chance had the Bucks in 7.
7.
Bucks in 7. I went with the Nets in 7. Nets going to the finals. Just like we thought at the beginning of the season. Look at that. Look at the guys on that team. Come on. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, like me and Chance were talking about earlier, though, defense wins championships, I think, in the NBA, and those guys have no defense whatsoever, though. That's just the only thing.
Well,
That's,
might win them the championship, but we'll see what gets
Yeah.
them there. Might be offense this year.
They're totally capable of flipping the switch, though. Like, Kevin Durant's a totally capable defender. We've seen it in the past. So, where that often went and disappeared, I don't know. If those guys can buckle down and actually play some good defense, I'd give them a harder consideration, but just haven't been seeing it, man.
Yeah. So the only thing we could agree on is these series are going to go deep in the Eastern Conference Finals. 7 games is what we all went with. All right. Then we got the Western Conference Finals. Who's your matchup in the Western Conference Finals? Mima, let's go to you.
I got Dallas and Denver.
Dallas
Or
and
no,
Denver.
Suns. No, the Suns. Never mind, the Suns.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think I don't know. Luka's playing out of his mind. I just want to see him. Make it there. I don't know if it's. I just picked Dallas because I thought it'd be really fun to see them there. Plus, I know Chance is gonna go to the Lakers, more than likely. So.
Well, Chance is sensible. He probably has the Clippers going to the finals, I'd imagine. So.
They're sweeping it too.
But I'd love to see Luka make some moves here too. Who's Luka playing with down there? I think
he's got Porzingis, but nothing else, right? And then the Suns. Got Devin Booker. Ayton played really good today against AD.
Definitely.
Yeah. So those guys, what? They got the best record in the league right now.
Second.
Yeah. And they were they've been up there all year, so never know. They could surprise some people. I just wanted to pick them because they're going against Chance's Lakers.
I think if the Suns do come away and they beat the Lakers, like that's got to be an ultimate confidence booster, even though you're beating a quote unquote 7 seed. But to take out LeBron, AD, and the defending champs, I think you're going to see them kind of become maybe even the favorites in the West then after that, if that happens.
Definitely. What kind of matchup you got going on, Chance?
Well, I got the battle for LA. I don't know why I have faith in the Clippers and getting there after their poor showing in Game 1, but Lakers did the same. But like I said earlier, Lakers lost Game 1 last year to the Blazers. Totally bounced back. Kind of feel like some of these teams that have been so deep into the playoffs and running these deep runs, they kind of get a little bored and they need to get punched in the jaw to get going. I feel like the Clippers already folded on their hand. They lost their last 2 games of the regular season to the Rockets and the Thunder just to avoid the Lakers. So I feel, if you want to call it gamesmanship, I call it fear. So I call it Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6. All right. And I got the Suns surpassing the Lakers meeting up with the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. I'd like to see what Kawhi can do after another year in the system with Paul George. See if they
Pandemic
can't.
P.
See if they can't get there. I think the Lakers are a little bit fragile, and I think the Suns just got the heart. I like to see that. So, but I do have the Clippers taking it in 6 and going to the finals. Mima, who you got going to the finals in the West?
I got the Mavs.
Mavs in 6.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, I want Luka to make it all the way there, man.
He's fun to watch. I don't know how you can't watch him and not enjoy
Yeah.
watching basketball games.
Oh, well, when he whoops my Bucks ass, it's a little easier not to enjoy that. So, the NBA Finals predictions. So, Chance, you had the Lakers versus Bucks.
Yep.
I had the Nets and the Clippers. And Mima had the Mavs and the 76ers. Ooh. So, some interesting matchups there. I'll go ahead and just lay it on the table. You know who's taking it this year, and that's the Clippers in 7 over the Nets. Kawhi, third team, third championship. I think it'll be an awesome celebration in LA. The city could really use another championship at this time. It's been tough on them, so. Clippers in 7. Get it in. Get it in. Chance, what you got?
I got LeBron James getting his 5th title for his 3rd team. It's a little more impressive than Mr. Kawhi Leonard can do. I got him winning in 6. I'm gonna be pretty proud of the Bucks to get there, but I think they made some improvements to their roster to get deeper this year. And I feel like we've seen Giannis in some of these bigger games this last couple of years not show up to the spotlight, I guess, per se. And I think he's going to get over that hump in the East. But once he gets to that finals, I think something like that's going to come up again. Same with Middleton. I think we might kind of see him veer away. I just don't see enough talent and scoring on that Bucks offense to keep up with the Lakers defense. So I got Lakers in 6.
Definitely. Who saw that coming? I did. Anyway.
Yep, me too.
Mima, what do you got going on over there with the Mavs and the Sixers? All right.
Well, you got two pretty young teams. I wanted to get 2 new teams in there that haven't been in there. I just think that'd be good for the NBA if they just had some teams that, not your usual suspects that are always in there. So I got the Mavs winning it in 7. I'm just personally just rooting for a really exciting series, something that'll be fun to watch, not the same old stuff. So
Agreed. Yeah.
I wouldn't bet on those teams probably getting there if I had to put money on it, but I mean I'm just going with my heart there, what I want to see. So
I was just wondering that too. If look up the Vegas odds if you were to have predicted a Dallas Philly NBA Finals, how much you'd come away with, because I bet you that'd be a pretty nice purse.
Yeah. I'd imagine. So next up, we got our Super Bowl Darkhorse picks. So we got our Darkhorse Super Bowl picks. We're going to be revealing the teams that aren't on everybody's radar that we think might go all the way. Let's start out with Gage. What do you got, Gage?
I got the Steelers as my dark horse pick. We saw one of the greatest falls from grace in recent memory last year. They started out, 10-0, 11-0?
11-0, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and then it all fell apart after that. And I think a lot of that comes down to Big Ben, and he's just not what he used to be anymore. But I think they still got a good, solid squad. They got a lot of threats on offense. New running back Najee Harris. Maybe he ends up being something special. Their defense is still rock solid. I think it really just comes down to if Big Ben has enough in the tank for one more year. And I
Yeah,
think
and
if he's got it, then I think they're the team to watch.
I mean, you could say the same about Tom Brady. Granted, I mean, Tom Brady's got a really nice supporting cast, but I mean, it's the same deal where, he's serviceable. I think Big Ben is serviceable for the most part.
Yeah, they got a really tough division too, but if they can come out of that, that's going to make them even better heading into the playoffs, I think.
Yeah,
So it
definitely.
just comes down to Ben, really.
Yeah, like I said, yeah. Just Big Ben's got to come through. He does.
Definitely.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, I think that's the most part. Like, it feels like he can make it like halfway through a season and then body starts deteriorating a little bit through the season and then gets nicked up. And then it seems like at some point the Steelers always have to have some like backup quarterback come in. They don't ever have a good one. So it's like, I mean, they got Haskins now. Maybe they can turn him into something now that he's with a good team. But
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Juju needs to.
Yeah, Juju
I
needs
don't
to
know.
be Juju
He's
again
just
or
been.
something, man. I don't know what's going on.
I kind of like Juju Smith-Schuster. I can't help it, man. The more he dances, the more I like him. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I should start a
Maybe he
TikTok,
should
probably. Some
you
Maybe
shit.
guys
should
think he's a
uninstall
true number
TikTok.
one?
No. Not if your quarterback's Big Ben. I don't.
Pre-TikTok Juju was number one.
What makes a number one? Are you saying he's not one of the best 32 receivers in the league? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, he's probably the number one guy in his team, but do you think he's really like the leader of the group? Like, do you think he can be like that type of player?
Ah, it's tough.
I don't.
I think he could grow
don't
into
think-
it. I think he could.
Like, I like Juju a lot, but he just, I mean, he does a lot of things off the field that like he tries to say that it doesn't distract the team, but like they kind of do though.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it has to.
I think those types of things are coachable. You know what I mean? To a point. I mean, it's not like he's being belligerent or, just a jerk. So, I mean, maybe he could learn to chill out a little bit, dance a little less, be a little less of a distraction, and
yeah, he can do that stuff all he wants. Just maybe cool it a little bit in the season, huh?
right.
Yeah.
Mimo, who you got?
Well, I got the Los Angeles Chargers.
Bye.
So, you got Herbert, obviously. I wasn't really a huge fan of him coming out of college, but I was wrong on that for sure. He had the best rookie quarterback season probably in NFL history. Threw the most passes of any rookie quarterback of all time, 31 touchdowns. Pretty good runner too, coming out of Oregon. They got rid of Anthony Lynn, who he's just honestly like he's a really solid coach. I think just not like a great one, not one that's gonna take him to that next level. So I think they had to get rid of him because they had 9 losses. They went 7-9 last year, and 7 of those 9 losses they lost by 8 points or fewer. So they were in every game they played last year. Just rookie quarterback couldn't get it done. Plus the coach just being terrible at managing the clock and doing the right stuff. Obviously you got 2 great wide receivers, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Eckler at running back. They added Jared Cook this offseason and lost Hunter Henry, but I don't know. Hunter Henry's not really that reliable, like being healthy. So I mean, Jared Cook, he's pretty good at just doing all the small things good, and he's a good team player. Especially coming over from a team like the Saints, where you got to kind of be, unselfish and take what you can get. Drafted a first round tackle. I think that this team just like they draft better. They're drafting so good lately. They sat at 6 last year behind the Dolphins, let everybody else take all the other quarterbacks, and just waited for Herbert to fall to him, and that worked out pretty well for them. And then this year, they just sat there. And, you got a good young quarterback better protect him. So they took Rashawn Slater in the first round. Like all the draft guys were saying that this guy was going to be the best tackle coming out, and they just sat there and waited until he dropped to them. Getting Derwin James back in the secondary, he's really good. Obviously, probably maybe the best safety in football when he's out there. So in the second round, they went and took a a corner, Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State. He played with Derwin, so they're already buddies, and he's going to be able to take him under his wing. And then other free agents that they got Corey Linsley, your guys' boy from Green Bay.
Yeah, we're gonna miss him.
So their whole line is really solid. A solid running back, wide receivers. Defense has got talent. They got their coach is going to be Brandon Staley. I don't know if you guys know anything about him at all.
Not too
This
much.
guy came from the Rams, right?
Yep. So offense is pretty much set in stone. They got a lot of good players on offense. So they brought Brandon Staley from the Rams over. He's a McVay guy, which are pretty popular in the NFL right now. The Rams defense last year was actually number 1 in the league, if you guys knew that. At scoring, so like they had the lowest score against them all season.
The Rams were,
Yeah.
and that's where their head coach came over from.
Yeah.
Yeah, Herbert's undeniable. I mean, I don't know if you're going to see some kind of sophomore slump or something out of him. But I mean, who knows? I mean, nothing indicates that to me. And they got a solid squad all around, so I think that's an excellent pick. I can't wait to see what they're doing this year. Tough division, though, huh?
Yeah, obviously going against Mahomes, but who knows? If Herbert turns out to be the real deal, similar to Mahomes, like those matchups twice a year are going to be those are going to be primetime games every year.
Definitely. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Nick Lovin 27. What up? Get it in, man.
Get it in.
We appreciate that so much. Anytime you follow, we appreciate that. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Leave some comments. Get in on the chat, or you can hop in on the chat here too. We appreciate that. Chance, what up? Who's your Darkhorse team?
Well, first I got a question. Do you guys think people are actually gonna start showing up to Chargers games?
I'm gonna mention that.
Well, getting Herbert helps for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not related to this at all, but I mean, it'd be kind of nice to see some Charger fans finally show up to football games again.
Yeah.
Start to
Should've
win,
done
they'll
the
come
team with-
in, dude.
Yep, that's what I was just going to say. Start winning, they'll come.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely think probably even starting this year, if they continue to win at the start of the season, I think you'll start building a fan base, I guess. I don't know how long that lasts once you start losing.
Are they playing in the same stadium as the Rams? Do you guys know?
Yeah, they should be. I thought they did last year too.
That
Well, we got
stadium is gonna. Well, they didn't have any fans in there last year, I don't think at all. And
Yeah,
that
I know that.
stadium is insane. Like people are. I don't know if they're gonna be Chargers fans, but even other teams' fans are gonna be wanting to be going out to LA to go to that stadium.
SoFi is nuts. It's crazy, futuristic. It's one of the craziest stadiums I've ever seen.
Yeah, but do they got a club in the end zone?
No, they don't.
Ooh.
Maybe they do. No, but yeah, they ain't got no Club Gruden. Club Staley. Yeah. Speaking of Staley's, I believe back in the day that was a mascot for Chicago, which is a horse. We got a horse down at the bottom. So I'm going with a horse too. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts.
All right.
I think that reuniting Frank Reich and Carson Wentz back together, I think is really we're gonna see the old Carson. I think he's finally going to a team where it actually has offensive linemen that exist. And last time when he had some offensive linemen, I mean, without tearing that, was it ACL that he tore that year they went to the Super Bowl?
Wentz?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was diving into the end zone on that play.
Yep. So that's another thing. He had a semi-good offensive line then. He doesn't have to sit back there and run so much or put so much stress on himself to run this offense. There's a lot of weapons around him. Solid receivers. Ty's back again. You got a good slot. Michael Pittman year 2, I think is going to be pretty good. You're going to see improvements there. I'm praying and hoping I see something out of Paris Campbell, but it sounds like I'm still waiting. And I'm
He's
probably
100% right now. He's been catching them in practice.
That they just signed Eric Fisher too, another tackle, big name. Is he the number 1 overall pick? However many years ago in Kansas City drafted him, or was he the number 2?
Yep, he was 1. He's got that he got that injury pretty late though, so he might not be back till like halfway through the year.
Yeah, but I was reading some stuff, and a lot of people are thinking that it's the Colts are going to take a step back this year, but I kind of think it's an upgrade getting Wentz, and then defense has to get a little bit stronger. Like a point, really. Looking at their schedule, it kind of seems kind of tough, honestly, until after that Week 14 bye. At the end of the season, I think that they're going to hit a hot streak. Getting into the playoffs hot. I will be right back, but I'm going with the Colts.
All right.
I can talk about it too if you want.
Yeah, throw down. What you got on the Colts?
Yeah, so I mean
That's your
their
team,
biggest-
right?
Yep, that's my team.
Okay.
Their biggest issues last year were the pass rush and then probably depth in the secondary, to be honest. But so this year they went out and drafted Kwity Paye, first round out of Michigan, defensive end. I guess like no matter where he was at, like if he was on the board, they didn't even think he was going to make it to him. They thought he was going to go like upper like 12 to 15 area, but all the defensive ends just dropped in the draft this year. And then I think Miami took Jalen Phillips like with the pick before them or something like that, and he had a lot of character issues, so I don't think they were going to take him anyway. And then so Kwity fell to them. They took him. Everything I've seen on him, he's just like a freak athlete, like super smart. Like he came from like a different country when he was really young, and he had that like mentality of like, you know, like I want to like his mom had like no money. She was working like 3 jobs just to get him to go to college. Um, or I think she was working 3 jobs to like send him to a different high school or something away from like their bad neighborhood or something so he could get recognized. And he made it out of the hood or whatever. And then second round they went with another defensive end, so they solidified their pass rush in the first 2 rounds, or hopefully they did. But I mean, needless to say, of like Wentz, they probably just need to like not run the ball a lot with him, like and like QB draws and stuff. Just try to keep him healthy, because people think with Frank Reich they're a passing team, but really they're a run first team. They're especially when you got 3 pretty good running backs, to be honest. You got Taylor's going to be the one. Hines is their kind of change of pace guy. He's like their Darren Sproles almost.
Okay.
And I think he's pretty underrated. And then you got Marlon Mack too coming back. They signed him to a 1-year, $2 million deal. Nobody even offered him a deal. And I don't know. He's a really good running back. That was a steal for them this year, getting him back.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm personally pretty high on Wentz. I think he has potential to be great, and he's shown that potential. I don't know, why people are so low on him when I know he's been injured. So I guess if availability is your main concern, okay. But I mean, he's played well up until that last year, and I don't know. Anytime your coach is giving you like psychological issues and stuff, I mean, it can be a pretty big deal, and I just think he can get over them as opposed to someone like Sam Darnold, who came into the league and never really has shown anything.
Yeah, and with Wentz, he's like, I think the biggest concern is people think he's like a head case now or whatever, because like they think it was like all in his head pretty much last year. And I mean, you obviously probably all you guys probably heard about the stuff that was going on between him and Doug Peterson behind the scenes. Like that would never happen with him and Frank Reich. So
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Just gut feeling of mine.
I also
plus
think
he's
getting
wearing number 2.
I also think getting him out of the Philly media is going to be a world of a difference.
So I got the Washington Redskins. I'm sorry, the Washington football team. Whoa.
Oh,
For the first time.
I got the Washington football team. Shit. And it's really comes down to 4 things. That defense led by Chase Young is a monster unit. We talked earlier about defense wins championships, and I mean that's a philosophy that a lot of people shell out, and I'm no different. Defense wins championships. We watched Tampa Bay win a defensive championship last year because as much as you want to say it's Tom Brady, he didn't look all that great. I'd say it was a lot of the defense. Number 2, they're in a weaker division. I mean, they got the NFC least with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. Who knows what the heck that's going to be? You got the Cowboys down there being the Cowboys. Granted, you got Dak back, but you want to talk about head cases. You got McCarthy, and I feel like that guy's in his own thoughts like 24/7. It's crazy. So who knows with the Cowboys? I don't think they're gonna have it together this year, and the Giants too. So they got the weak division. They upgraded their quarterback. Yeah, I said upgraded their quarterback to Fitzmagic over Heineke. And, of course, Alex Smith retired, and he's like an insurance liability or something with that knee. So, I mean, I know some people are just thanking someone for that. And it's not that we don't like him. It's just, again, it's like scary after that guy had all the surgeries on his knee to have him out there. So, again, upgrade at quarterback to Fitzmagic. He's shown that he can be a leader of a team. And then, he's shown that he can do some other stuff too. But at least for a little bit, I think he'll be okay. Probably enough to get him through the division. And Ron Rivera is a great coach. So he's going to have them minding their P's and Q's. I think it's a different Washington football team than we've seen in a long time. And they might just do it. Okay? Could happen.
could happen.
Could happen.
It happened.
Could happen. I think
Yeah.
Raiders-
I heard it could happen.
It could happen.
It's possible. I mean, there's only one other Washington football team that they've won. They have to compete against. It's been the other word before that.
That's true. So, we are moving on to Julio getting traded. So, there's been a lot of talks about Julio Jones getting dished out by Atlanta to some other teams. They want a big pull for him, but sometimes it doesn't really seem too feasible. What do you think, Mima? Are they going to dish out Julio? Are they going to get rid of him?
I don't think they want to, but I don't think they really have a choice. His contract is 3 years left on it for $66 million, so about $22 million a year. And from what I've seen, they can't even afford their draft class. So
Yikes.
yeah,
So,
so I
where
don't
do you
really
think-
see what else they can do.
Where do you think he might end up?
My favorite pick probably to see him go would probably be Arizona, and DeAndre Hopkins has already said that he'd be willing to restructure his deal to try to make it work. So, I mean, that would be insane if he went there, to be honest, but
Definitely. Chance, where do you think he might end up?
I don't really understand this, but I've been seeing the Patriots have a lot of buzz going on with him being in play for him. That he wants to play with Cam Newton. I don't see how that makes sense for Julio Jones, but more power to you. I've got 3 spots. I don't know the potential to them, but I was going to mention it earlier in my Darkhorse pick, but if the Colts could nab uh, Julio Jones, I mean, they're a big name target away from, I mean, Carson throwing deep to Julio. I think that would be a very, very scary offense. The second one I have would be Baltimore. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of the Anquan Bolden making the move at the end of his career, or Derek Mason. Did Terrell Owens go over there and play with Baltimore at the end of his career too? I want to say. And we all know they need a wideout. Yeah, they drafted one and all, but man, your boy down there needs some targets. So I think that would be a good fit. That could be a Super Bowl win away piece, if he were to join them. The third one, I could. They definitely need to work around some cap issues, but I could see maybe this being the little cherry on the top that Green Bay could try and find with a new contract, restructuring Rodgers, and saying, "Hey, if you come back, we're going to get you Julio." I think it'd be very hard for them to. But I don't know if make him happy along with that new contract. Definitely got to make some moves to make that happen, but I would put it as a possibility.
Definitely. So, Arizona is a
I can throw out
possible.
another one too if you want.
Yeah, who else? Who are you thinking?
The best place I think he could honestly go to, like, that would really make this team a Super Bowl contender immediately, would be the 49ers. He already played under Shanahan that year that they lost in the Super Bowl, and if you put him in that offense, I mean, that'd be like a cheat code for Shanahan.
Trey Lance, though, you think they're ready to step up and be Super Bowl contenders with Lance right away?
I don't even think he's gonna play right away.
Yeah.
They'll probably play Garoppolo until he gets hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Trey Lance. I mean, Garoppolo's a good QB when he's not injured. Well,
yeah, but week 11, maybe Lance is ready by then. Let's say Garoppolo gets hurt week 11, throw him in. It's better than, I mean, Shanahan's been winning with Nick Mullins and Beathard. I mean, Lance would have to be he'd have to play really bad for them to not win games. And then, I mean, obviously, if they had Julio, it'd be like the cherry on top.
yeah, I think, if they're going to dish Julio, it probably makes sense that he goes to somewhere like the Green Bay Packers. You know what I'm saying? So, that'd be great. Could have Jordan Love tossing it up to, better yet, Matt Ryan chucking it up to Julio in the green and gold. What?
Trade 'em both.
Aaron down there in Atlanta? Couple first rounders in our pocket?
I'd just rather see Blake Bortles throwing him the ball, but whatever.
Kurt Benkert. So I got my money on for the starting job.
I'm telling you, well, Julio's probably not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna move him? You said they have to because of the cap.
I mean, they'd have to cut. I think from what I read was that it either had to be him or Grady Jarrett would have to restructure his deal, and it didn't sound like it was likely.
He was not interested in
No.
that.
And I doubt Julio's gonna want to restructure a fully guaranteed $66 million deal.
Yeah. Dang. Well, that will continue to be interesting as money continues to be the root of all evil, or I wouldn't say even evil here, tension, I guess. Next up, we are doing a little segment we like to call Don't Rule It Out. In this one, we are going to take any rule from any sport and we're going to change it in any way you want. We're going to fix these broken rules. NFL, NHL, MLB, F1, Gage, if you're here. Anything you want.
Yep.
Chill. So, C-Loke, you want to take this one? You want to start out?
Start. One thing that's always driven me nuts is about the NFL's overtime. What sport ends in a tie, man? It's just the stupidest thing in the world. Why can you tie? Get rid of it. Um, Maybe go to somewhat of like the college format, where you get the ball at the 20. I'm not too keen on like the 20. Maybe put it at the 40. So you're 40 yards away. But I also want to install the rule that you ain't kicking field goals. You're scoring touchdowns or you're not scoring touchdowns. This is 4-down territory all the way out. No field goals around here. Get the kickers off the field. And let the offense and defenses slug it out. They got to have their backs up against the wall, whether it's 4th and 40 or 4th and floor. Fight it out that way. But, man, get rid of tying. I mean, how many years ago was it when we had Donovan McNabb that didn't even realize it was possible to tie? You're perfect. Realize that rule. Get rid of it. Supposed to be the smartest guy on the team, man. But
So would it still be first person to score, or would you just play like a certain timeout, like like the whole 20, like a whole 10-minute quarter or something?
I just think you go score for score. Like, say my team is playing your team. I go up, I score. You still have a shot to score. It's got to be a touchdown.
Mhm.
But then if you don't score, we're done. But then if you score, then we'll flip it, and then we're gonna have you go back out again on offense, and it'll be like round 2. Whatever team comes away from the round, and you keep switching it back and forth. We're not scoring a touchdown, loses. But no field goals.
No field goals. I like it. I love college overtime. I find it way more exciting than the NFL. The NFL, like, I hate the coin toss anxiety, even though it's a little better now that it's not just sudden death with the field goals. But I mean, still, it's just like, please, like, I rather every NFL overtime that they don't go down and kick a field goal right away, because then I feel like it's real overtime, like it's real. I don't know, suspense, like just next score wins, like who's gonna do it, But so I like the no field goal thing. I like college overtime a lot better, and I hate ties, so I'm down with that one.
And didn't they just change it recently? So now the other team for sure gets to go again.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do.
So I mean, at least they know it's kind of a problem. You know what I'm saying? They know it's a problem.
Yeah, but they're like barely tweaking it, dude. Just fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Like, we know what the issue is here. Why are people talking?
Yeah.
Definitely. So I want them to keep their robots out of my baseball. The minor leagues, some leagues are using robotic umpires to basically call balls and strikes with a laser beam. And I mean, this is just the beginning of the end. We've seen the Terminator. We know how this stuff happens. We do not need robots calling our sports. I believe they've attested it in the MLB a little bit, but I don't think they've used it too much in any games. We need to stop that. We need to stop that. An umpire is part of the game. Sometimes they have a big old strike zone. Sometimes they have a small strike zone. Who are we going to yell at when things don't go our way?
That's my
Although
thing.
I do think one guy yelled at the robot one time. I don't know. Can robots eject people? I don't know. Do you need a separate umpire just to eject people? I don't know.
Just throw a
Wild.
beer at him. Maybe it'll short circuit it or something.
Keep it out of my game, man. It's a human game. Keep it human.
I think
My
for me, the only way I want a robot ump in my game is if the robot's Bender from Futurama. 'Cause then I'm about
Definitely. What do you got, Mima?
So mine's gonna be to change the rule where if the ball, like if you're on offense and you were running to score a touchdown and you fumble out of the end zone, um, the other team gets possession of the ball and basically you lose. Like, it could be first down, you could lose the ball as a turnover right then and there. My suggestion would be to change it to where if you fumbled out of the end zone, let's say it's second down, you would just get the ball on the 20 and it would be third down, so loss of down, and then you'd have to score a touchdown and a 20-yard touchdown in 2 plays, or you could still kick a field goal. It's just really weird that you can take the ball, say you take it 80 yards down the field, and you know your guy drops it right at the goal line, and all those 80 yards are just gone out of nowhere.
Yeah. And where does the other team get to at what? They're 20? Is that
Yep.
right?
So a touchback
Touchback.
on like a punt or on like a turnover on a fumble like that, it would be on the 20. A kickoff's the 25.
25 now. Definitely. Yeah, that's. I can't think of any specific plays, but I know it's happened, across the league, but a few times even to the Packers, I think, where you're right at the goal line and then gets knocked out and it rolls through the end zone and you think you're all good. It's just a fumble. We'll get the ball back at the 2 wherever he dropped it, and then they're like, nope, other team's ball, and you're just like, it doesn't make sense, right? It like it doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't immediately make any sense to you. You're like, that doesn't. Why did that happen, right? So definitely agree with you. I like the. It still carries some weight because we were talking about this a little bit before about what's even like the issue. Why not just give them the ball right at the 1 yard line or something like that? But I mean, then you got people trying to fumble forward on purpose for whatever reason, either to get their teammate to score, or maybe even, hey, you're at the 6 yard line, you fumble forward and get it at the 1, some shit like that.
I mean, like you're saying, to keep the robot. Like, I mean, obviously, like the technology is so advanced now. Like, it's a turnover anyway, so they should just be able to go on camera and then just say where he fumbled it from. Like, let's say he's on the 6 yard line, you can see that. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just be like, oh, he fumbled there, we're just gonna bring it back to where the fumble happened? Like, it just seems so ancient of them to like be like, nope, this is how it is. Like, when everybody thinks it should not be that way.
Yeah, and they do review the spot of the ball, too. Granted, not every play, they don't spot it with a laser every play, but they do review it. So I mean that wouldn't even be like a huge thing to review the spot of the ball. But,
Well, and it's on a turnover, so the league's supposed to review turnovers anyway. All touchdowns and turnovers are reviewed, so
right. Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to just look at it.
definitely.
Look at
I like the suggestion though. I like going back to your 20, give them a long next down, whatever it is, second, third, fourth, from the 20. I think that's a lot of fun to me. But moving on, next up, last but not least, we got ranked video game athletes. C-Loke and Mima are going to give their top 5 video game athletes of all time. Who wants to start off with their number 5?
I can go first here.
All right.
At number 5, I got Pablo Sanchez from the Backyard Games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wanted him on their team. He's just the most well-rounded character. Some people would probably even say he's the GOAT of all sports.
Oh, yeah. Now, I had baseball and football. I remember playing football a lot. Remember being the Wombats. Dope team, best team. For sure. Who you got at number 5, Chance?
number 5. Well, for starters, I want to throw out my honorable mention, and I'm gonna throw out my grandma, her Wii bowling character. You up against that lady, man, and her Wii bowling character. She is bowling 300 all over you all day, every day. You can't stop her. I gotta show grandma a little love. But number 5, I got Stretch from the original NBA Street. He was the guy just hit it from outside, inside. You couldn't stop him. You could just only hope to contain him. My number 5.
Chance will bring it back to you. Number 4. Who you got?
Oh, no 4. So when I got real deep into Madden when I was a kid, I got ranked up in like the top 150 in the world for a while there. And I was playing with the Oakland Raiders in Madden 2006 because they were the worst team on the game. So he scored more points, but he run that no huddle, hit him with a play action, Randy Moss over the top, unstoppable. So I got Raider Randy Moss, Madden 2006.
Definitely. Yeah. And now he's literally a verb, getting mossed. Just like
Yeah.
jumping up and catching the ball over him. Although I don't know if many people think of the Raider version in that sense, but hey.
That's why he cracks my list, man.
It happened. It did happen. Mima, who you got at number 4?
I got LeBron James from NBA 2K14. He's
Okay.
a 99 overall. He was a cover athlete that year, pretty much unstoppable. That was when he was in the middle of his prime there with the Heat. You could pretty much just drive to the hoop and do everything at will without even any resistance.
Nice. Definitely. We'll bring it back to you. Number 3, Mima. Who you got?
I got Peyton Manning from Madden 06. That was the year they introduced the field vision cone, the QB cone, where it lighted up on the field, and a normal QB would have maybe like a little 5-yard window. Peyton Manning had, and it was based off your awareness rating, and Peyton Manning had 99 awareness, so his cone was literally the whole field. You didn't have to turn it much at all, and you could just throw it to any guy and hit him like right on a dime.
I'm like a junkie QB kind of guy. Like I'd rather have a great defense and stuff. I remember being just so frustrated with the vision cone. I think that's when I quit for like 3 years. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like I can barely play the way it is. Now I got to try and like shift my vision to the receiver. Like no, I'm hit the wrong button half the time. That I don't know. And then sometimes I wish they'd bring it back because I feel like I'd be better now, but I'm probably wrong. Peyton Manning, 06 Madden, yeah?
Well,
Chance,
you
who
could pick Peyton from probably any Madden game.
True
Yeah.
that. True that. I used to hate playing him when he was the CPU because they do the actual like online at the line audibles and it'd just be like 40 seconds. I'd be like, bro. Used to hate it. Chance, who you got at number 3?
I'm going football too. Keeping it with the streets, dog. We're going Ricky Williams, NFL Street Volume 1. I just remember running all over Buddy, run Ricky, run, running up the side of the walls, hopping over people. You could also play Ricky at linebacker too, because you had your guys play both ways. He wasn't too bad of a linebacker either. Ricky was the cover athlete too, so most of your games with the cover athlete are pretty darn good. I just remember running all over everybody in Ricky Williams, baby.
Oh, yeah. Who you got for number 2, Chance?
Number 2, I'm going basketball. I want to say this is before they went on their hiatus. Their last game they made, NBA Live 2010. They kind of went on a hiatus of making games for a bit after that. Basketball, anyhow. This is probably the peak of Kobe Bryant's career. So I had 2010 Kobe Bryant. I just remember playing tournaments with my buddies, and I felt like it was always a shoo-in if I got to draft Kobe on my team, and all I had to do was sprint up the court and hit any kind of a fadeaway jumper. Might shoot it 40 to 50 times, but you ain't gonna stop him.
Definitely.
Well, you remember back when we used to play NBA Live 10 all the time?
Oh yeah.
And Kobe on that game was unstoppable.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
I mean, like, dude, if you
yeah.
had Kobe and you just like get him in where he'd like be in a sprint mode, and then he'd hit that like corner fade, like that
Yeah,
fadeaway jumper, it's just like automatic.
Yeah, I'd always use like you and our buddy Dustin would always use the Lakers whenever we'd play, and I'd always pull the Celtics out for the rivalry, and I'd have Kevin Garnett on there tearing it up.
Oh man. Who you got at number 2, Mama?
I got Bo Jackson from Tecmo Super Bowl. Uh, basically, like I always played that game really, really young out at my grandma's, and if you use the Raiders and you had Bo Jackson, the guy was like unstoppable. I was doing a little bit of research on like why they made him so unstoppable in that game. Like obviously he was like really good, but like it wasn't even fair. And I guess it was made by some people that weren't even like NFL fans, and they were just trying to make a game where like they wanted like superheroes in the game, and that's how they like viewed Bo Jackson at the time because he was a two-sport athlete, just ripping it up. Um, so that's why they made him so fast because they wanted to have somebody in there that was like Superman.
Weird. It's kind of interesting that they were making the game don't even care about football though. That's weird.
Yeah.
So I didn't make a full list, but it's mostly because I love creating characters, man. My best characters probably WWE characters, but I did play some NFL Game Day, and you'd make those superstar players, and they get injured and be like limping down the field. When you have 5 yards left, is just really stressful there. But I will probably just give my number 1 is Afro Thunder from Ready to Rumble Boxing. He was the cover athlete too, so props to him. Yeah. So that's my number 1. I pretty much dominated all the time, so. Chance, who'd you have at number 1?
So when I started making this list, and I feel like most people, when you do a list, you go down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Started at number 1. There's no way I wasn't taking 2004 Madden Michael Vick. I mean, 4th and 30, 1st and 40, 1st and 60. It don't matter. You send everybody deep. Hail Mary. Send them all deep, and just sweep it out and run it with Vic. You can run like 400, 500 rushing yards a game. And then maybe do a little dink and dunk into like Peerless Price was on that team. Brian Finneran, LG Crumpler, to name a few of his targets. But man, 2004 Michael Vick was cheat code, OP, the greatest Madden player of all time. 97 speed, like 95 throw power. He was legit, man.
Definitely. Mima, who you got?
I got the same. The only reason I picked him over Bo Jackson was because it's pretty similar, like what you could do with them, just roll them out and run them all the way. But Mike Vick, obviously being a quarterback, it's a little bit more important. I don't know. It's just it was just so unfair playing with him. Like I remember playing online a little bit, and I mean everybody would pick him. You'd be playing Falcons versus Falcons.
Just a
It's
cheat
just like,
code, bro.
yeah. Can I do a little PSA here since we're talking about video games
Oh yeah, definitely.
about what I told you last night about NBA. So if anyone here has a gaming PC, on the Epic's game launcher right now, you can get 2K21 for free.
Nice. Dude, get it in.
Give it in.
And you do a lot of gaming then?
Yep, I do a lot of gaming.
Nice,
Not
dude.
a ton of sports games anymore. I did get the 2K21 because it's free. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't get it.
Right.
I played it a little bit today. It's just like all the other ones, to be honest, but
New players.
can't
All the good
complain with
games.
free.
Yeah, exactly. So that will pretty much wrap it up. Gage, what up, bro? Where you at, bro?
What, dude?
What's up, dude? Make sure you're catching us on social. on Twitch, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and YouTube. And we want to thank our special guest, Mima, for coming on out today. We appreciate you. Some great conversation. Thanks, Gage, too. I think he's around. He's in here.
Yeah, I'm here.
And
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
oh, you bet, dude. That should pretty much do it for the Up North Sportscast tonight. You can hit us up on social. Have a good one, y'all.